So I don't know if you guys have heard about this yet, but Sony this fall plans to release a PlayStation tablet. This video, I'm not quite sure about how this is gonna be, like how it's gonna perform, how much people are gonna like it, how well it's gonna work. So this is gonna be my video on like sort of it's like a first thoughts, like with my first thoughts when I heard about it. Now I won't really be able to give an accurate description of whether it does work, obviously, until it comes out this fall. But this is going to be a video on my first impressions of this tablet. So now let's go ahead and get started. The first thing I want to just say is that tablets aren't meant for hardcore gaming. I mean, you look at the iPad, Android tablets, that run Honeycomb and everything, and that games do work, but they're games like this. Let's see here, Poppy Jump. All right, these are the kinds of games that really work for a tablet device. They're just simple games. Now there are some more in-depth games. I forget what that one game is called that was really popular at the Apple keynotes and everything. But like you slash with a sword, and it was like this big 3D game, like PSP level graphics. I suppose some games like that could work, but when you think about it, really in-depth games that run on PlayStation, they require physical controls, not a screen like a virtual joystick. I mean, try to think of playing Grand Theft Auto on a tablet. It just doesn't work. I mean, you have the buttons, like the triggers. Tablets just don't have that, and I can't really think of a way to put it on there. If you look at some of these, maybe it's sort of like this, but this is sort of like a DS design. Just imagine playing GTA on the DS, like that China Wars game. It just doesn't work, and that was just like a classic like aerial view. So to play like a 3D environment game on a tablet with no physical controls really just doesn't make sense to me. And if you look at this concept here, there's just no way that I think that could work for video games. I mean, how are you gonna hold it? You'd have to have it like a stand for it to be able to use all your fingers. And to play these 3D games, I just don't think it's going to work. I mean, like I said, you think of Grand Theft Auto, you think of Uncharted 2, any first-person shooter, it just doesn't work. I mean, I'm sure they can make the graphics look beautiful, but graphics mean nothing if you can't play the game. So, this sort of brings me to the next point. What about the NGP, Sony's next-generation portable PSP2? Where does that come into play here? I can't really see Sony releasing two gaming products at the same time. I just don't think that makes too much sense, unless you're like a real Sony enthusiast, sort of like people with the iPad and the iPhone, how they have both but they're very similar. That's sort of like this, I guess you could say, but these are just gaming systems, I guess you could say, whereas the iPhone is a cell phone. Everyone these days has cell phones, whereas the iPad just gives you a bigger screen and a few more options. So that makes more sense to me than two gaming devices. One's meant for, I guess, the hardcore mobile gaming community, and one's meant for like the less hardcore gaming community. So this whole thing I think is just very confusing. Sony is kind of confusing me here. So that's pretty much all I really have to say about that. So now I want to just move on to, what about the whole PlayStation Network attack? Sony is touting this device, this tablet here, as, an all-digital, much like the PSP Go. And before I go any further, what happened to the PSP Go? I've never seen one in person. No one I know owns a PSP Go. It just didn't seem very popular. I would probably consider it a failure on Sony's part, because maybe it is doing great in other parts of the world. Maybe where you're at, if you live in like California or Nevada or some, just naming random places there, maybe everyone has one. Maybe it's doing great in Japan or wherever it's manufactured, but as far as where I'm at, which is Pennsylvania, northwestern Pennsylvania, nobody I know has one at all. I've never seen one in person. Well, I have seen one, but it was at Best Buy on display. So that's, I just don't really see this selling all digital after such a PlayStation Network attack, like such a serious attack. Are people really going to trust Sony this quick again with an all-digital device? If you have an all-digital device, you can't just go to Walmart and buy a UMD, put it in there anymore. If the PlayStation Network goes down like this again, what use is this device going to have? And with a device like this, like the iPhone games, they're just so much more fun online. If you play them by yourself, they can get boring pretty fast. If you're playing online with Game Center and everything, then yeah, it works. They're pretty fun. But, just to play, Poppy Jump by yourself, for 2 hours, you'd have to be pretty bored, but if this game was internet compatible and you can get multiple people in on it, then it might be a lot funner. So I just don't really see this device being super successful, seeing as it's an all digital device and people are still, kind of weary to trust Sony at this point. Their network is still down. It's been well over a week. They have to rebuild the whole thing due to these hacks. All the 77 million credit card numbers were just given out. So Sony is not in the spot right now to be releasing new digital products. They just really need to focus on getting their network back up, getting people satisfied again, letting people know they're secure. And then later down the road, maybe they could launch something like this. But I don't know. I just think, what do you guys think? Is it too soon to launch an all-digital device for Sony? I mean, for another company, if they want an all-digital device, that's fine because their network wasn't just hacked. But, for Sony, is it too soon that they released an all-digital product? Let me know. So those are my cons. Just not meant for heavy gaming, lack of real physical controls, the whole PlayStation Network hack thing, the whole, digital, I guess, conundrum you could say. I don't really know a better word for that. But, I guess there are a few pros. Like I said earlier, what if you're a real Sony enthusiast or you love mobile gaming? Then, yeah, you'll probably pick one of these up. Probably get both the NGP and the PlayStation tablet. And I was just reading on here, it's running Android, Honeycomb. Sony, why would you run another person's operating system? You should run something like the NGP has, or even go back to the cross media bar. I just don't see why your tablet would run Android. I'd just make your own operating system. Why would I buy this when I could just go and get, like a BlackBerry Playbook, and just, whatever another tablet has. Sony just took that operating system, put a PlayStation spin on it, and then they just, here you go. And I do not agree with that at all. I think they should definitely have their own operating system. So that was kind of out of place, but I was just reading there, trying to get back to the pros. I really can't think of many, to be honest, guys. Like I said, Sony enthusiasts can own both, the tablet and the NGP. That's really the only con I can really see at this point. Sony, it's just too soon to release a digital product after your network got hacked. It says here the design is subject to change. I hope it does, because, like I said, you can't really do any hardcore gaming on this. So, what do you guys think? This device, like I said, is touted to be released in fall 2011. Just ask yourself that question. Is it too soon to release a digital product after such a serious attack? I don't know. What do you guys think? That's just what I think. Mostly cons there. I really can't think of many pros. But yeah, let me know what you think. I'm at CPUKid on Twitter. Leave a comment below. Check out itechcity.org. Forums there would be a great place to discuss this with you guys. So yeah, that's pretty much it. If you have any questions, you know how to contact me. Thanks for watching.